Hey YouTube, it's Ryan back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about one of the best free resources to use in the state of Florida specifically, but I mean you can use in other states too, regarding wetlands. So a lot of times what people do is they go out and they pay, an environmentalist specialist, $600, $1,000 for what's called a DEP report, which is the Department of Environmental Protection. And basically what they uncover is, are there any species on the property, or is the property in wetlands? So if you go out to the property yourself and you can see like, hey, there was no turtles, owls on the property, whatever, the only thing that you can't necessarily tell with your own eyes is the property in wetlands. And that's where we found this online mapper, which is a free resource to use. So I'm going to shrink myself down a little bit and I'm going to go into the website. So it's fwsprimary.wim.usgs.gov. And what this is, it's an online wetlands mapper. So what I found is, because we've gotten DP reports, we've done this kind of stuff, and other people have done inspections on properties that we've been involved with, and one thing is, it's not 100% accurate, but I would be willing to say it's 90 to 95% accurate, which is good enough for me when you're conducting your research online. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a property. That is not a property. I'm going to put in, well, actually, you know what? We don't even need a specific property. We can just zoom in and kind of play around in here. So, over here, we're going to use Florida as the example, and, more specifically Lee County. So Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Lehigh Acres, all that kind of stuff. And as you can see, the closer we're getting here, you can't see it now, but there was a lot of like light green, dark green, and the maps have to load. But the importance of looking into wetlands on, whether a property is exposed to it or not is going to really come down to fees, building costs and all that. So the number one thing is there can be building restrictions. So if your property is in protected wetlands, the city or the county, depending on who you need to go through, they're going to give you a really hard time about building, and you're going to have to pay a lot of extra money to get these approvals to be able to build. So that's just one thing to consider with the wetlands. Another one is you have a higher flood risk. By definition, a wetland is a naturally low-lying area, which is prone to flooding, and it can increase flood insurance. And obviously, you can deal with property damage, all this different kind of stuff. So just like at a zoomed out look, you can see different severities of wetlands in here. And, this is just all over. And where are we at right now? Are we in Fort Myers? Yeah, we're in Fort Myers. So let's go over to Lehigh Acres. This is a really common area where we're doing a lot of deals. And just zoomed out, you look pretty much where the line is right here. You're going to see this is going to all be Lehigh. So if I could draw a little map, it would look like this, all the way up, over, down, even down further, and all the way across. So this whole area right here is going to all be Lehigh, and we're going to wait for it to load. But this is going to show you the importance of it, because this is a market where a lot of like wholesalers and investors are doing deals. And for you to be able to have this resource online, you can know right from the start whether or not you suspect a property to be in wetlands. Because if you do, or if your property is even anywhere near wetlands, which I'll show you whenever this loads, you'll be able to, get a better idea like, hey, maybe we should go out and get a DEP report and confirm that this isn't in the wetlands, especially if you're closing on the property, because on top of what I've already talked about, sometimes there's limited usable land. So for example, in Naples, we have a lot over there, and like 80% of it is wetlands. And with that being said, there's a specific area where you have to build the house. So the house can't be too close to the street because of the wetlands on this specific property. So I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit here and just show you guys some examples. So right over here, this is a really popular area of Lehigh that we're doing a lot of deals. And if you look, I mean, first of all, the red flag is there's zero development, so that's one thing to always look for. Like if you had a lot down here and it's between new construction and existing houses, you're already not going to be too concerned. But, then you go into the mapper and you look, maybe you have a lot right here and it looks like you're clear of the wetlands, But like I said, this map isn't 100% accurate. So now what you would really want to do in this scenario, if you got a lot anywhere near here, is get the DEP report and confirm that, hey, this lot isn't in wetlands, because just like I'm showing you this, other people know about this too. Like, it's not a super common thing to use the National Wetlands Inventory, because I've talked with realtors, and a lot of realtors have no idea about it, and I send it over to them, and they ask me, hey, you don't have a DEP report, how do you know it's not in wetlands? And I say, well, I don't know it's not in wetlands, but I have a good idea that because it's located right here, there's already houses around being built, they've all gotten inspections. You're surrounded by new construction, they've all gotten inspections. You're not just gonna like stick out like a sore thumb, like a little patch of wetlands. It's very rare. So I never guarantee them on it, and I always tell them, hey, make sure you do your own due diligence and all that. But really, it's going to come down to you relying on this as a first step, because you'll like I said, you'll know if your lot is right here, or even right here, you're in wetlands. Like, hey, I need to go back to the seller, I need to renegotiate, because when I make an offer, I don't assume that you're in wetlands, unless you do the due diligence up front. But some other downsides of the wetlands are something as simple as mosquitoes. Mosquitoes in wet areas, they're going to be a lot worse, especially in Florida. Florida's already wet. Builders are already like avoiding lots on canals like these over here. They're avoiding these for their new construction because they know end users consider the fact that there can be mosquitoes and other types of, bugs, flies, and all that kind of stuff that surround themselves with all the wet areas. So that, it's just another thing to consider. And so on top of the added costs, on top of the, the risk of it, building restrictions, all that stuff, I mean, wetlands are a really big negative thing, and it's something you need to be aware of. If properties are retailing for $20K in this area, and you get a lot right here, you have the paved road, so you wouldn't know just by looking at the map, that it's in wetlands most of the time. But what would make you naturally suspicious is looking to the north and seeing zero construction. Zooming in a little bit and seeing, hey, the paved road just ends. That's really weird. You have a paved road all the way up until here, and it doesn't even go to the next intersecting street. And you look over here, you see a road, I don't know if it's paved or not, we're not doing that kind of due diligence right now, but it ends right here. And it's like, hey, why is this happening? Why are all these roads just ending? And you have a lot under contract, and it's right here on an unpaved road, or it's right here at the end of a paved road, or even here at the end of this paved road. And it naturally is going to make you a little suspicious, and it should. And that's where you would want to immediately jump into this. You'd want to immediately go into your free resource. You don't even have to have an account. You go to this public website, you put in your address, and it'll either give you peace of mind or at least clarity, and into the first step of what's going on. Because, I talk about going to the north without using this map. If this map wasn't here and you had this lot right here, there's still no construction to the north on either side of the street. There is on this street right here, but from here up, there's nothing. So you don't know. And like I said, because this isn't 100% accurate, this wetlands could just go straight down right here. And so for me, if I had a lot in this area, I would definitely either be getting it at a big discount, or I'd be getting a DEP report prior to closing, And at the end of the day, if you're wholesaling, your buyer is going to end up having to do that, but that's still where you're going to want to get it at a discount. You can't expect retail in sketchy scenarios. Let that be the key takeaway from this is, this will open up your eyes to step one of your due diligence. Now, if you're in an area and you're way down here and there's no wetlands anywhere around, you can feel a little bit more comfortable asking closer to retail on, what the price is, or making a more aggressive offer with your seller if you're very confident in it. But again, if you're anywhere near here, you'd want to come in a little bit of a discount and then prepare for some due diligence to be done, because if not by you, it's going to be done by the buyer. And, buyers will beat you up on price if you go in blind. So that's pretty much it for this video. Just wanted to go over this free resource that we've been using that a lot of people aren't aware of. Thanks.